For my day one project, I made a little cup to hold my jewelry. I used slip trailing to make some of the designs on it. For the glaze, on the inside I used purple, and on the outside I used blue rutile. I liked the purple, but I really loved how the outside turned out and how it showed the texture of the piece. For my coil project, I was inspired by this Grecian pot. I made the form less spherical than the original. I tried to make it come in at the top, but I realized it was quite hard to do. For the decoration, I took the octopus from the original piece and wrapped it around the piece to form movement. I also added a starfish opposite the octopus because it is a symbol of my grandmother. Behind the octopus, I used a loop tool to form texture. For this project, I used white on the inside and dark blue on the outside. I really liked how it turned out, but the white could have been more evenly distributed. Overall, I really liked how this piece turned out. My next project was my wheel-thrown cup. At first, wheel throwing was really hard, but after lots of practice, it got a little easier. My pieces are a little shorter than I wanted them to be, but overall, I think they turned out alright. For both of my cups, I used the cream to brown 5% on the inside and the Shannon Oribe on the outside. I really like how they turned out and that the glaze made them have a more rustic look to them. For my slab project, I made a hexagon-shaped form. My inspiration for this piece was the quote, "There are plenty of fish in the sea, you just have to catch the right one." I made the form look like a fish tank and used the loop tool to create fish, bubbles, seaweed, and other things. I also added starfish on the back of the piece to represent my grandmother. I used underglaze on the fish and other things to make them pop a little bit more. I also added a fish hook as a handle on the lid to make it look a little more unique. Overall, I think this is probably my favorite piece that I did, and I think it turned out very well. For my final project, I did a series of 3. I did a plate, bowl, and a spoon. For my plate, I did slab. I used a plate to mold out the form and then imprinted lace into the plate. For my bowl, I did the same thing as the plate and imprinted the lace into the inside, but on the outside I used the loop tool to make some designs. For all of my pieces, I used the same blue rutile glaze. On the back of the spoon, I used the cream to brown 5%, and for the bottom of the bowl, I used the cream to brown 5%. I really liked how the bowl turned out on the inside, but I wasn't too fond of the top of the plate. I think that if I applied another layer to the top of the plate, it would have looked a lot better. Overall, I really like this piece, and I think it turned out fairly well.